Okay, moms and dads, who need more sleep? All of you moms out there or you dads? Here to shed light on how many hours of sleep we should all be getting and how it could affect your parenting is psychologist and mom herself, Amy Trout. Good morning.
Good morning.
I love this. I love this because I do think it's a battle. I know a lot of couples have, you know, who should be getting more sleep, who deserves more sleep.
Right.
And right off the bat, you know, it's not that we're going to go ahead and say it. Women, you say, need more sleep.
Yeah, that's
Require
what
more
research
sleep?
shows. That's what research is showing.
That's what research is showing. And it's not necessarily that we're smarter or doing more or, you know, we're the superior gender, right?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
We're just using our brains differently.
So-
you know, some of it's biological, and we haven't unpacked all those things yet in the research. But women are typically tend to be more multitaskers and flexible, shifting from task to task. So we may not work to accomplish the end result at that moment. We may be working on 4 or 5 things at the moment. I'm not saying it's more efficient or less efficient. It's just the way we typically operate. And it's all generalizations, but based on pretty sound research out of Duke.
Has there been a lot of research on this subject? I mean, I feel like sleep has been studied for years. We're all wanting to get more of it. We're all wanting to use the best of it.
Yeah, it's really important work. I mean, people that look at sleep deprivation, we've heard of all the negative effects of sleep deprivation, right? Like health and emotional and relational. But the gender thing is kind of a newer thing over the last few years, and it's been replicated. So now it's something we're kind of paying attention to and going, wait, this is sort of important here. If moms are typically the ones, getting
Well,
up
of course,
through the
there's not
night.
every, you know, there's not ever 100% on anything.
Right, so getting up through the night with the little ones, or typically tend to rouse more easily, so it's easier to respond to kiddos in the night.
Is that true? Because I felt like that
typically.
was what happened in our house.
Yeah, typically. And so if we're getting less of the restorative sleep, and then hour for hour, you know, we may be sleeping the same amount as our partners, but typically we're still needing more just biologically every night. We're kind of cutting ourselves short. So, you know, what experts suggest is it's about 20 minutes a day that we're under. From men's needs. So if we were all getting our ideal 7 to 9 hours a night.
Okay, I was just going to ask, what is the 7 to 9?
That's what we're supposed to be getting.
Okay.
80% of us aren't, but if we were.
80%?
Yeah, of adults.
I don't know why I'm so surprised. But.
I know. Yeah, we need to rethink this whole sleep thing. Sleep is precious. It's restorative. It's rejuvenating. Our brain actually shuts in our cortex that processes thought and memory, shuts down at night. I guess it's kind of like, I'm not an IT person, but like a computer would reboot. Have you ever just restarted your computer and all of a sudden it works? That's what's happening with sleep.
Well, and sleep is just as important, you know, as breathing and as food. I mean, it's one of those essential needs,
It's
isn't it?
vital.
I mean, you literally cannot function if you do not have sleep.
Not well, not for long, right?
Not for long.
Right.
All right, so again, sharp difference between genders, and what is that, you know, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like, let's say we were getting our 7 to 9 hours, right? Women are still requiring, from what the research shows, about 20 minutes a day more, which adds up to, it doesn't sound like a lot, right? 5 hours a week, or almost 150 hours a month.
Yeah, when you say that, 5 hours a week.
That's pretty significant. I mean, that's some of our whole nights, right? That's like a
I
whole
know,
night's
right?
sleep. And we typically need it after, like if we've had a really mentally taxing day, those are the nights we really need to turn in early, because that's where that restorative thing happens. I know they say like sleep well before a test, and that's good for, you know, kids in school.
Well, and I was going to ask that, if you know that you have a busy day, if a mom or a dad has a busy day, you know, does it help you to get a better night's sleep the night before?
It can't hurt, but what we really need to do is that after that busyness has worn off, instead of staying up late and celebrating and sort of like shooing it all, turn in early and help your brain restore what it's expended.
Oh, interesting. Well, and you say the more you use your brain, the more rest you need. So talk about what it is, how we're using our brain that we need to pay attention to. Because what is it? We were talking about, you know, just, is it the fact that moms are more busier with their kids and it makes them use the brain more?
There are some biological, you know, contributors that we don't quite know yet. We don't quite understand what the difference is. But as far as what the research shows, what the outcomes look like is, because women tend to do these task shifting, we're just kind of using our mental energy. It's an expenditure issue. So we're just using it up kind of faster. It's not that we're working harder. You know, men that have jobs that require a lot of task shifting as well may have more expenditure as well. But even at the end of the day, what research shows is still, if the tasks are sort of similar, women still have a higher need. So there's some biological factors that are contributing to this that we just don't quite get yet.
So what's the take home? I mean, do we as women need to make more of an effort to make sure that we're getting just a little bit more sleep? I mean, really, is it just maybe an extra 20 minutes that we should be trying to work into our sleep schedule?
It's hard, but it's really important. And maybe as couples, you know, we kind of make it a priority, because if women are waking up with, you know, reduced mood because of lack of sleep, you know, it can kind of set the stage for a day that can be challenging for everybody, right? So I think if it becomes a priority, if sleep is really protected in a home, kiddo sleep, adult sleep, I think it can be a pretty big deal for women by the end of the week if they've had a couple of days where they're able to sleep in. Or even if you're napping a little bit here and there with your kids, there's no shame.
I'm a huge fan of naps. I know, like, my husband can't nap during the day, but man, you give me a 20, 30-minute nap and it can really do a world of difference.
It's important to self-care in that way, to prioritize getting that little bit of sleep. If you know it makes a difference for you, there's no shame in saying, I curled up while the kids were sleeping or while they were at school and took a little nap.
I do it enough. I'm glad to hear it. It's okay.
It's good. It's good.
Well, again, as we close up here, what do you want people, you know, as men and women are watching, and maybe what they can do? Because it will have an effect on your parenting. If you're tired in the morning, if you don't feel like you're functioning well, I mean, it's just a ripple effect.
Sure. Really just evaluate, kind of do a little evaluation and say, okay, well, as parents, we're not doing the 7 to 9 hours typically. What can we cut back? What can we do differently? And how can we prioritize? Some things that we need to do to help get good night's sleep if we have the actual time and we're not sleeping well. Sometimes it's worries or anxieties, and you can journal or try to get some help for that apart from, you know, the home. But oftentimes it can be environmental influences, really kind of having the bedroom as a quiet zone and not a non-TV zone. That can be hard. Unplugging at night our electronic devices. Really prioritizing and cutting out that space and having a bedtime routine, just like we do with the kids.
Oh, I'm a big fan of that too. White noise machines. You don't really, you know, they're so good for the kids. They're good for adults
Absolutely.
too.
Even a bathroom fan sometimes can help adults
we use them all. We use them all.
Exercise can help, limiting caffeine and alcohol, or really limiting the times we're using caffeine and alcohol. Those can all be, you know, helpful to help us get into that sleep zone. So use the time this morning to kind of check yourself, realize how much sleep you're getting, and really trying to do something about it. If you can, just a little bit will go a long way. And there's huge health benefits beyond the emotional, you know, the physical benefits of protecting our hearts and other things.
All right, Amy, you told us women need more than men. We're going to go ahead and see if we can sleep in a little bit longer, maybe just 20 minutes. I'm going to tell my husband, Amy told me I needed to. Thank you so much. We love having you here. We look forward to having you back.
Thank you.
All right, up next, from your kids to your furry family members, we tell you what you need to keep in mind to make sure you keep your pets safe this summer. But first, your Fox forecast and news headlines.